When we think of unique cinematography styles, Amélie has to be one of the first films to come to mind. I mean, it is for me at least. The use of colour, movement and composition is just so different, and not only does it make the film more enjoyable to watch, but in my eyes it makes it one of the most remarkable from a technical standpoint. The first time I saw Amélie, I was just left in awe at the cinematography. It was just so unique and unlike anything I'd seen in a film before, so I'm surprised it's taken me this long to make a video surrounding it. As the first video of the year, I wanted to try and make a couple of changes to the format, but if it doesn't feel right, then let me know down below. In today's video, I look at what equipment Bruno Delbonnel used, as well as what makes the cinematography so unique, because it's undoubtedly some of the most extraordinary of the past 20 years. Let's start by looking at what equipment Bruno Delbonnel used. As it was the early 2000s, it was obviously shot on film, more specifically Kodak's Vision 250D and 320T. He then used Arri's Arriflex 435 ES and 535, paired with the Zeiss's Ultra Prime lenses. The Ultra Primes are possibly the best lenses for when you want to create the cleanest image possible. They feature no distortion, great resolution, and have a wide range of focal lengths. They are also optimal for low light performance, as there is a constant aperture of t1.3 from the widest to the tightest lens. Looking at the film stock, Kodak's Vision 250D is one of the most flexible choices if you are looking for great skin tones and colour reproduction. It also features reduced grain in the shadows, which is what you want if you are after a clean image. 320T is very similar in the regards that it has fine grain and brilliant colour reproduction, but it also features softer colours. The majority of the warm and saturated look was added digitally. However, an 81 EF filter was used occasionally on set, but I'll get more into the colour of the film later. Jean-Pierre has one of the most unique visual styles of any director working today, and I think that's pretty obvious with Amélie. The bold colours, enthusiastic movement, close-ups, wides as well, are all styles and techniques that we've seen before, but he puts them together in such a unique way. Let's start by looking at the distorted sense of reality though. Now, the colours throughout this film are bold, really bold, and they grab our attention from the first minute, but it's almost as though they are from the fantasy world that Amélie lives in. Nevertheless, they make it much more interesting to watch. Looking at the other techniques Genet used, one of them was to use a wide-angle lens, paired with a push-in on a dolly. Pretty simple move, right? Well, yes, but it's done constantly throughout, so I'm including it in this video. Another thing to note is how we are introduced to characters. Just a simple zoom onto their face, and that's it. Rather easy to do, and whilst we have no clue what's happening around them, it doesn't really matter, as seconds later we see everything, as it's actually a pretty fast-paced movie. Looking at the compositions of the film, it's something that we are really seeing a lot of in today's films, and it's centre framing. The film feels full of it, and they use it for everything. Whether it's introducing a character, showcasing a character in a new location, or even just showing off a fish. But what does it actually mean? Why would you utilise centre framing so much? Well, without knowing what Bruno Delbonnel was thinking, it's hard to know, but we can speculate. For example, we can use it to show immersion in an environment, which makes sense for this film, as the majority of the establishing shots where we see Amélie feature her in the centre of the frame. However, it's also often used for humour, which it very obviously is in this as well. The mask scene is one of many great examples. However, there's one specific use of centre framing in this film that feels the most important, and it's for the fourth wall breaks. Not only are these some of the most important scenes in the film, as they make us, the audience, feel as though we belong, but the utilisation of central framing also makes us feel more comfortable watching it in a weird sort of way. Enough about the meaning of compositions though. let's look at arguably the most famous part of the film from a filmmaking standpoint, and that's the colour grading. The film is infused with reds and greens from the props to the final grade of the film, but why is that? Well, red often symbolises warmth and energy, but most importantly, love. And ultimately, that's what this film is about. Green, on the other hand, often represents hope, which is another vital aspect of the movie. Then we have blue, and whilst it appears in very few shots, it also means something, often indicating towards isolation and calmness, both of which Amélie experiences throughout. Ultimately, I think it boils down to just three things that make the cinematography of Amélie so unique. Firstly, we have the bold colours. They fill each scene with a different mood and create emotion. Then we have the almost dramatic movement, fast dollies in, strapped to a motorbike, anything to grab the eye of the audience. And finally, unique composition. Our attention is immediately brought to the middle of the screen where all the action is happening, or maybe not happening. But that wasn't really typical in the early 2000s. But also, this film just wouldn't be the same without the acting, score and wonderful direction, but I think that goes without saying. I hope you enjoyed this video looking at the unique cinematography of Amélie. If you have a film or TV show that you would like to see me analyse, then leave a comment down below. If you found it informative, a like is appreciated, and if you would like to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.